Okay, welcome friends to Tales from the Loop, the Harvest Festival. This is a game about intrepid kids who have a lot of moxie, spunk, mischief up their sleeves, and all of the various hijinks that they get into in the strange and fantastical world of the Loop. I'm Jake Householder, they, them, and I'm going to be GMing tonight. The rest of the folks, you want to introduce yourselves as well? Let's start with you, Pat.
Hi, my name's Patrick, and I like to play tabletop role-playing games, and a lot of times my characters are a little sneaky, so I decided to go with another sneaky one in this session, playing the popular kid that likes to keep secrets.
Awesome. Luis?
I'm Luis, he, him. I don't think I have a pattern for my characters, but I think I usually do for the more dramatic ones. So I picked one with a lot of potential for that.
Absolutely. And Blaine, tell us a little bit about yourself and your character.
Hello, I'm Blaine. I'm new to the Gauntlet and online role-playing in general. As far as character patterns go, I usually go for non-optimal builds as one way to play it. One of my favorite characters is a halfling fighter that doesn't seem to carry across this game so much, so I'll be playing... Well, basically, we'll be seeing how good my southern accent is kept up over the years.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to that. Awesome. Well, as we jump into Tales from the Loop here, I just want to review a couple of things about our story, and that has to do with the principles of the Loop. Tales from the Loop has this unique thing about it, which is... it has these 6 kind of rules which are referred to as the principles of the loop. And those are kind of the 6 things that we are setting our stall out to say, like, if we're going to play a game, if we're going to tell a story in this game and in this world, these are the 6 things that are going to be kind of the hallmarks of it. And it's this: the principles of the loop are your hometown is full of strange and fantastic things. But everyday life is dull and unforgiving. And we kind of, a big part of the gameplay and the storytelling in Tales from the Loop is pins between those 2 poles. Your hometown is full of strange and fantastic things, but everyday life is dull and unforgiving. You still have to go to school. You still have parents who don't let you out at night. You still have, you know, duties and chores and an allowance and limited amount of money to spend. And yet there are these crazy magnetrine vehicles that soar through the sky, and the cooling towers from the Loop facility loom ominously over your hometown. So we'll play a lot on those 2 poles. Principle number 3 is that adults are out of reach and out of touch. So it may be tempting for you as kids, when you get into trouble, to go running to the adults for help, to help you solve whatever mystery you're up against. But whatever that is that you're up against, they are going to be like, oh, haha, children with such large imaginations, blah, blah, blah. So the problems, the trouble that you get into is in your hands to solve. Principle number 4 is that the world is dangerous, but the kids will not die. Child death just straight up not on the table in Tales from the Loop, which is a good time to remind you folks all that we have safety tools in this game. You can use the X card. If there's anything that's happening here that you don't want to be a part of it, just give a little X, and we will steer clear of that. Blaine, you just say X card since we don't have video for you. We'll also use lines and veils, meaning that if there's sensitive content that you're not into, we will kind of allude to it more than explicitly stating that. While we're on that topic, is there anything that anybody has that you want to make sure is not on the table, not in the story?
Well, since Tuck has a German Shepherd pet animal, I'd rather not see the animal suffer in any way. That's not a line, just more like a veil. If
Sure.
anything terrible happens to the German Shepherd, at least mask it off.
Yeah. You got it. Anybody else? Luis, Blaine?
I would
Nothing
say
on my
I'm sorry, Blaine, you can go.
Yeah, nothing on my end.
I was just gonna say that like I run a lot of games about kids, so just the obvious ones, like nothing sexual, no excessive violence. I would say no violence even. Like it would be like a very hard veil on them suffering physical abuse, if at all.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll steer clear of all that stuff. Sounds great. Thank you, folks. Cool. So that's in play / not in play, depending on how you're looking at that. And then the last couple of principles of the loop have to deal with how we play this game. We're going to be playing this game out scene by scene. So instead of like one long continuous, structure where we see the kids here and then there and they're moving, etc., etc., we'll set scenes and we'll say, okay, now's the scene between Tuck and Brock, and you're working on a class project together, blah, blah, blah. And whoever has an idea for a scene, you call it out and you make it happen. It is cool because Principle 6 is the world is described collaboratively, which means it's not just on me as the GM to set the tone for what all's happening here and to say like what the world is like. Obviously, my role is to help get you folks into trouble and create interesting problems for you to solve. But your roles are to help flesh out this world, what it's like, and all of that jazz. So, with all that out of the way, do you have any questions about Tales from the Loop or the principles of the loop?
Are the other kids aware of this stuff as well, or is our group special on that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that's up to us in the storytelling. Is whether you folks want there to be some other interested parties, I suppose. But I think as a principle, the other kids around get it if they're made to see it. But what marks you folks as different is that you all have a drive. That's on your character sheet. That's the thing that makes you these kind of rambunctious, spunky kids who are getting into trouble and solving crimes, rather than those who are just kind of focused on doing your schoolwork and making friends and all that stuff. So other kids would probably see the stuff that you're talking about, but you'd need to lead them to that. So yeah.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
As far as like mechanics are concerned, do we play this kind of like, like PBTA where we just narrate what we're doing and then you'll jump in and call for a roll, or should we know the mechanics ourselves?
Yeah. No, it's more like a Powered by the Apocalypse place. This is based off of Mutant Year Zero system, and it's really pretty straightforward. You don't have moves like in Apocalypse World type games, but you each have, and if you look at your character sheet, it should be pretty straightforward to see. You have attributes, body, tech, heart, and mind, and you can, I imagine, guess what those things are used for. And then you have skills. There are 12 of them, 4 that pertain to each attribute. So when you are doing a thing that's going to be challenging or has the potential to get you into trouble, yeah, I'll call for that roll and say like, sounds like you're trying to do this. I think I need a roll here. you know, if you're trying to like sneak past somebody, that's going to be a sneak plus body. So if you were Esther, who has a 3 in body and a 2 in sneak, you'd roll 5d6, and anything that's a 6 is a success. One of the cool things about this game is that, or I think at least, is that you really genuinely only need 1 success to do the thing. But if you get more than that, most of the skills have extra success conditions that you can like buy success. It's kind of like in a PBTA, like a weak hit versus a hit or that sort of thing.
Actually, kind of reminds me of the narrative dice from the Star Wars systems out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Like success with a threat or success with an advantage, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot like that. One thing to keep in mind as you do, most of this will come up as we play, but one thing to keep in mind is that when you attempt to do a thing, failure doesn't mean that we roadblock you and that doesn't happen. Failure just means that you don't get through there quite the way you wanted to. And we're going to add some interesting complications to the story because of that failure. But failure also isn't always failure. You have luck points that you can spend after a roll to re-roll any failed dice. Or if you don't want to spend your luck points, you can push the roll, take a condition, and re-roll the failed dice to try again. So those are some options for you when it comes time to roll the dice. But basically, the short answer to your question, which I'm always terrible at, is yeah, it's more like the PBTA system where you say what you're doing and we punctuate the fiction with rolls rather than I'm not generally going to be asking for a lot of rolls just because.
Do we ever get luck points back, or is it pretty much spent it and it's gone?
You get them back between sessions. So in this one shot, when you spend them, they're gone.
Okay.
Cool. Well, let's do it. Okay. The year is 1985. It's fall. It's late October. The air is damp and it smells like kind of mildew and wet straw. The way that we start the game of Tales from the Loop is with a scene from each kid from everyday life to kind of set the scene, to introduce the characters, and all that sort of stuff. So, as we get started here, let's do a scene from each of you. Either like it's a school day, so we can either do like a scene from your home life before you head to school, a scene on your way to school, or a scene kind of like in your homeroom where you're getting set for the day and that sort of stuff. Take your pick. This is all about setting up your character. And if you want someone else at the table to play an NPC that's involved in your scene, yeah, just hit us up and we'll do it. I say for everyone. So who wants the first scene? Who are we going to meet first?
I can take that. So hard. Is anybody willing to play one of those very critical adult figures?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Nice. Pat's got it.
Thank you, Pat. So Esther lives with her mom. Her dad is not in the picture, hasn't been for a while. And she has a new boyfriend for a few months. He's very critical of the way she dresses, how she likes to wear feathers and crystals and very colorful stuff that probably should have been left in the 70s. And so I think she's just coming down for breakfast. and she's wearing this big brown dress with this really tacky floral vest, and she's got a finger in every hand, a ring in every hand. I hope she's got all fingers, a ring in every finger, and and I would say that she's just like, we see her reach for a toast or something, and the light glints off one of her rings, and that draws the attention of her mom's boyfriend. We'll call him Rick. That's the first name that just came to my head.
Classic.
Yeah, and I think he just comments about it.
So, am I playing Rick or am I playing Esther's mom?
Rick, her mom doesn't really say much.
Okay. That's a nice ring you got there.
And I hold it to my chest and I'm like, oh, thanks.
Where'd you get it?
I found it around.
You found it?
I think mom. Yeah, I think mom left it in a drawer or something.
Did you ask her if you could wear it?
And I look at my mother, and she's just like out of the situation, she's just pretending that it's not happening. And they just go, "Oh no, but I thought it was okay. I just didn't think it was a problem."
Well, I'm sure your mother would have let you wear it if you had asked her for it, but you should ask permission first. You know, kids need boundaries.
Yeah, whatever you say. I'll just not wear it. I'm sorry. And I take it off and I put it on the table.
Good. Well, you enjoy your day at school then.
Thank you, Rick. Bye, Mom. And she just like nods towards me, and her eyes are sad, but she doesn't like make eye contact with me as I rush out the door.
Oh, man, that's touching. That was really. That dynamic is intense.
Yeah, Rick's an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you hit the type right on the head, like the way that Louise painted that in this character sheet there. Perfect. All right, who wants the next scene? Esther's off on her way to school.
I guess we could do Brock. So Brock is like from an outside standpoint, he's like part of the perfect family. Both of his parents make really good money. I believe like his mom's in like a self-published author, or not self-published, but like is a highly published author, and his dad's like a head of a financial firm or some sort. Deals a lot with stocks and stuff like that. And so Brock always has the nicest thing. He always has the newest clothes, the newest shoes. And once he hits 16, I'm sure he's going to have the newest car or the nicest car. And you know, that's probably one of the reasons he's popular, you know, because he's just popular because he has nice things. And he doesn't think it's for any other reason. So I imagine, and he doesn't have the best relationship with his father. I don't know if any of you happen to glance at my character sheet, but his dad's actually having an affair, and I guess Brock knows this. So like I guess in the scene you see Brock leaving the house, and like you know, his mom's probably sitting at the kitchen table and reading a newspaper, probably doing the crossword in the newspaper, and he leans down and kisses her, and he's like, says, "I'll see you later, Mom." She goes, "You know, have a good day at school, honey." And my dad comes out and says, Brock, you know, don't walk to school. I'll take you. I'll give you a ride. So the scene's like the car ride from the house to the school. So if anybody wants to play my father, my cheating father. Okay.
So this is a tense scene, right? Like,
for the most part,
yeah.
I think Brock pretty much tries to play it aloof. Like when his dad's asked him to told him, I'll give you a ride to school. Like Brock's just like, doesn't really like speak words. Just
Sure. Cool. So the car doors shut, right? And Brock's dad, his nameless dad, is starts to back the car out of the driveway and doesn't right
we'll
where
say Brock's dad name is also Brock. Brock Senior.
Brock Senior, yeah. Absolutely. And so he does that thing where he puts his arm around the back of the seat and to look and back up. And as he's kind of like backing up, he's like absent-mindedly like, "Look, Brock, I know you know."
I just like sigh and just kind of look out the window like I avoid his gaze.
It's not what you think, son. He puts the car in oops, sorry. Let me hit my do not disturb. Puts the car in drive, and it's a nice sports car. It's a manual, so he's shifting through the gears down your residential, very posh looking street. It's not what you think, son. It's look, it's things between your mom and I haven't been great for a long time.
Like, seriously? Are you trying to justify this?
No, it's I don't feel like there's something I need to justify here, son. It's when you're older, you probably understand.
Yeah, when I'm older, I understand that, shit like this can be talked about beforehand, before it happens, before the rumors get spread around everywhere.
Hey, look, kid. And he stops the car, right? Rumors, they're just rumors. Yes, Patty's nice. Yes, we spend a lot of time together. But nothing happened, okay? We're good friends, and I just need a good friend right now. And your mom doesn't seem to want to talk to me about this.
Are you trying to convince me that it's not happening, or are you trying to convince yourself?
He just kind of sighs and looks ahead, puts the car back in gear, and rolls forward. Stuff's complicated for grown-ups, Brock. It's complicated.
Yeah, Dad. Whatever you say. And I imagine like the whole car ride, the rest of the way is just like dead silence. Like the radio's not even playing. It's just you just hear the hum of that nice sports car engine. And they get to school. Brock gets out and doesn't even look twice at his dad. Slams the car door too hard. And starts walking up the lawn into school.
He rolls the window down as you're walking away, and it's like, "Hey, you gotta take care of nice things, all right? If you want that car to be yours next year."
Yeah, when you say take care of nice things, I pause, but I don't ever turn around and then just continue my walk. And that's the end of the scene.
Awesome.
I think with the trend we're setting, I'm going to have to change up and have a father figure that's not an asshole.
Well, we've all got issues.
Is that a thing?
All right, so I think the scene we're going to see for Tug is going to be kind of almost like a montage that probably starts way early in the morning when he gets up to, do his chores, which he lives, way out of town, just barely close enough to get on the bus into school to be in this district type of place. So you see him, milking the cow, feeding the chickens, that sort of typical hick thing per the stereotype. And you probably see him passing by his father as his father is doing other chores that aren't relegated to him. But that's not who I want to have the scene with, I think. I want to have the scene with little bit later on in the morning, after he takes his dirt bike down the road to the old scrapyard where he's going to help out old Mr. Knight, who owns the scrapyard. So I think the scene's going to be him stopping by and seeing if Mr. Knight needs any help with anything before he takes the dirt bike to school. Does anybody want to play Mr. Knight?
I can do it.
Sure. All right, so I think, yeah, Tucker just like walks to the door. It's got like one of those chintzy bells that, at the top of the door, so the bell rings as he shuts it. It's like an old, dirty shop with a bunch of parts everywhere, car parts, like toasters, whatever. So Tucker says, probably sees old Mr. Knight fell asleep at the front desk again or something. He's like, "Morning, Mr. Knight."
What? What? Who's that? Oh, hey kid, how's it going?
Yeah, it's gone, I guess.
Ah, come on. If you start the day with that face, you're gonna have it all day long.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Anything I can help you with before I head to school?
Ah, why don't you go feed Gus? Fetch me that bag of dog food over there.
All right, I think Tuck just like says, "Sure, I know the drill," and grabs the. He probably just like shouts out the door to Gus. Gus comes running in already. Knows. And then, like as I'm feeding him, probably like Gus is just like walking around me, waiting for me to finish. Anything else going around here? Any new cars to take part out, or?
Yeah, same old, same old. Nothing in this style ever changes. It's worse every year. Don't know how much time I can take it anymore.
All right, well, if something new comes in, you let me know and I'll help you out. I know how your old bones don't like the branches anymore.
Yeah, not the same old boy I was. Is your dad treating you right? Your mom?
Oh, everything's fine at the house, I guess.
That's good. The kids at school don't tease you?
No more than usual.
Ah, you don't mind them one bit. You're a good boy, Tuck.
Nice of you to say so.
Yeah, my Gus doesn't hang around with bad kids. Don't you, Gus? And he just pats Gus in the head.
Shoot, Gus will hang around with anybody who feeds him.
Yeah, that dog does have a belly on it.
I think that's like just sort of like you get a bit more of like that small talk type thing while I'm just busying around the shop and petting Gus as he bugs me and then heading off to school.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. This is really good stuff. Really good slice of life stuff. I think, can I add one thing in about, can you remind me of the shop owner's name again, Blaine?
Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight.
Knight.
Yeah. Can I add one thing in about his, it's kind of like a junkyard, scrapyard sort of place? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. That, like, because of the loop vibe, some of the things like scrapped in with all of these like 80s boxy car parts and that sort of stuff are like dilapidated robots and kind of other kind of weirder, more sci-fi tony sorts of things.
Sure, that works.
Sweet. And in this world, for whatever reason, they're called self-balancing machines, not robots, but we'll say robots. It's fine. Cool. Well, we've gotten a little bit of a slice of life from all this various kiddos here. I didn't double check your ages, but are you guys all in about the same? Would you all be in middle school? 13? Is anyone 15?
No, I'm 14. So.
Okay. So you're all in middle school, we'll say. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going with the Americanized school system. That's what I know. And we haven't really discussed the town that this is set in, but it's a small, sleepy, town. It's not like there are nice parts like where Brock's family lives. There's farmland surrounding it, like where Blaine's folks live. And then there's probably the, you know, everywhere in between. But it's not big. Everybody kind of knows everybody, and folks take an interest in other people's business generally, even if only to say hello and keep the pleasantries going. Not unlike the relationship between Mr. Knight and Blaine, but obviously there's something a little bit more there. So you arrive at school, and one of the things in the game that usually we go through, I don't think we're going to for tonight, is that the kids all have a hideout that they all can go to together. Just in the interest of time and for one-shot purposes, I don't think we'll hit that. But I do want to ask a few establishing questions of the group, because it's assumed that you all are together somehow. And there's some stuff that brings you together. So the book provides a few questions. Page 63, if you're following along. Questions to the group. So I want to know, what sets you apart from other kids at your school?
I think for Tuck, it's obvious that he's from, way out in the sticks, comparatively speaking, and there's not a lot of kids from out that far.
Cool. And you can answer for yourself personally, and you can answer like for the group as well. Like you guys are kind of your own little posse. So what sets that posse apart as well?
Besides the fact that there's a weirdo, a popular kid, and a hick that hang out together.
Sounds like a bad joke.
I mean, that could well be it. That could be the thing that sets you all apart, right? Like that. Like there's something that has brought these three very unique people types together. What is that?
I kind of feel like it would probably be Brock as the popular person, just like making the social connection between the two of us, Hick and Esther, and we sort of don't really have that many other friends, so maybe we stuck together after he just happened to catch us. That's all right with everybody else.
Could we say there's a common interest between the three of us that we all share?
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, that works for me. Any ideas on an interest? It could be like those robots that we were mentioning. 'Cause I'm sure Tuck would definitely be into those because he likes fixing things.
That sounds good for me. Maybe Esther gets into the new age vibe of thinking.
Oh yeah, that's good. Maybe like each of us like has something like that's like pseudoscience-y that we're into, and we just kind of gravitated together. Like Esther's kind of in the into the crystals and all that, and Tuck's into the robotics and what can robotics do, and perhaps Brock's into like more like the paranormal type stuff. Like he's into learning about like hauntings and stuff like that. Just alien abductions, all that weird news like Brock's into.
Oh, Esther would definitely go for aliens, trust me. What I'm thinking also is that maybe Brock is sick of all the kids being scared of him because he's aware of everyone's secrets, and Esther and Tuck are just very genuine around him. So they created kind of like this bond where they can just relax and put their walls down.
That's really cool. Yeah, they're the like two people that Brock doesn't need to keep secrets on because they always tell him. It's cool. Yeah, I love that. Cool. Well, it sounds like you all are bound together by some sort of shared interest in the like strangeness of the world that you're in. whether that be some sort of Wiccan forces, whether that be some sort of strange robotic, I don't know, construction, or the inner workings of that stuff, or whether it be paranormal activity that seems to have increased probably by Brock's count with the increased presence of the Loop facility in your hometown. But there's been a general uptake of all of those sort of strangeties this fall. Compared with the end of the school year last spring, this fall feels darker for you. It feels just like there's always something on the cusp, on the edges of the threads of your normal high school drama. And it's been tough to quite place it, but you all know something is afoot. It's first period, it's homeroom, which you all share, and your first period instructor, Mrs. Thorne, she is very much in the kind of mold of a aging school teacher who has put in many, many years at the school, is basically just waiting for retirement now, and doesn't really give two rips about her job right now. But she pulls down the or she doesn't pull down the chart. Sorry, she turns on the intercom, the announcement systems for the beginning of the day announcements and that sort of stuff. And the principal kind of chimes in through the comm there and says, "Good morning, children, and welcome to another beautiful day at Bellevue High. Sorry, Bellevue Middle. It's a dreary fall day out there, but hey, it's nice and warm and cozy here in school. Speaking of warm and cozy, I hope you guys are all getting your reports ready, getting your floats ready, because the annual Harvest Festival is this Friday. You're not going to want to miss it. There's going to be all kinds of cool stuff out there. It's going to be concessions and inflatables, a hayride, a petting zoo, provided by Rick's Petting Zoos. And, lots more. So, don't forget to mark your calendars, talk to your parents. It's going to be important that all the students make it out there. All right, turning it back over to your homeroom teachers. Have a great day, Bellevue Middle." And the comm crackles quiet again. And Mrs. Thorne just kind of stares at the class and sighs deeply. And she's like, okay, well, I suppose that you all have your fall harvest reports for the festival. Don't forget there is a prize for the most I don't care report. And that means you've got the rest of this period to get to the library and make your reports sparkle.
I'm sure there's tough competition for the most I don't care report.
I heard that, Brock. Oh, sorry. I
didn't
heard
say
that.
anything, Mrs. Thorne.
Well, you'll have to speak up, Brock. You know I'm old. So yeah, she's basically dismissing the class to the library. There is a report. What do you guys think? What's more fun? A report, some sort of research project, or some sort of school-y thing that has to do with harvest time, and particularly what the three of you would be interested in about harvest festivals. I'm very keen to find out.
I mean, the thing that strikes out that would be the most interesting to all three of us off the bat would be if there was crop circles sited locally.
Oh man, I just knew in my heart that someone was going to say crop circles.
Maybe
Tuck
like
would probably
the assignment is like the secrets of the harvest, and it's intended to be about learning about farming, but then we're going to subvert it and look for aliens.
Yeah. Aliens on All Hallows Eve. We don't even call it Halloween.
Tuck calls it Samhain or Samhain or however it's pronounced.
That's great. Yes, that is 100% what you folks are doing. I love it. So you make your way down to the library, and the normal everything seems more or less normal in the library. You know, there's desk space for you to work, and it's the computers that are there are more high tech than we might think of like a 1980s computer being, because of the Loop facility's generous donation to the school. And they even have kind of a proto-internet and the ability for the students to do research on those. And like it's still like it's very high tech looking computers, but it's still kind of like green on black screen and like very much like a text parsing sort of search engines and that sort of stuff. But then there are shelves and shelves of books as well. The library is fairly well appointed, but the one thing that's out of place in this particular setting is the librarian herself, who apparently must have called in sick today because the librarian sitting at the desk is the person you know to be the groundskeeper of the school, whose name is just Pear. That's how everyone knows him. And Pear looks you all up and down and is like, "Here for your harvest projects?"
Yes, Mr. Pear.
Great. Well, then you all know the where to do things. Go ahead for it. Then just don't bother me, okay?
I think Tuck like didn't even look up as he was saying that as he passed.
So
Great.
who's the normal librarian?
Her name is. Someone give me a name.
Elizabeth.
Ms. Elizabeth. Is the normal librarian. She's not there.
So yeah, I'm like, Pear, what are you doing in here? Where's Miss Elizabeth?
She called in sick.
She never misses a day.
Well, she did today.
Suspicious how a man replaces a woman for her job, and then a man comes in and takes it from her.
Look, Esther. I'm not here trying to replace Elizabeth. The principal is a natural order. Elizabeth is sick today. You got Pear. That's what we got. So like I said, don't bother me, kids. I got work to do.
Well, what work you got to do? You got to be outside raking all those leaves up that are falling down all over the place.
They'll rake themselves. I got some of the bots on it. And he kind of just like scoffs at you. Then is like, "What work do I have to do? Look at all this." And he gestures behind him, and there's all these boxes and boxes that have like the logo of the Loop facility on them. More of the stuff that's come in from the Loop's generous donation to the school. There's just like crates of books and some more of these computers and that sort of stuff. And it's like, no wonder Elizabeth called in sick. She don't want to have to deal with all this stuff. And he kind of like kicks one of the bottom boxes and the top topples, and he's like, ugh.
Oh, great. You're going to be fed more information by the man.
Meanwhile, Tuck is like sat down at a table with his report out and the book. He just got right to work.
Task at hand. Good on you, Tuck. Yeah, what are the rest of you doing here as you kind of settle into the library?
I had to like go around and like say hi to everybody because they're all like looking at me. So I had to like at least like acknowledge them.
Oh, Brock's making the rounds. So sweet. What about Esther?
Esther is going through the shelves looking for whatever books haven't been replaced by donations from the Loop facility. She's just looking for whatever oldest text they have here. She doesn't trust anything that was published ever after 1975.
That's awesome. Cool. So a couple of things here. Tuck, head down, hard at work on his report. Brock, as you approach a table of kids, they're in kind of just like hushed, whispered tones and that sort of stuff. As you approach, and they see you coming, and they're like, one of them looks up, and she like kind of tosses her hair back, and she's like, "Hey, Brock, how's it going?"
Hey, Linda, how you doing?
Oh, you know, can't complain. I saw your dad dropped you off today in that really cool sports car.
Oh God, he drives that thing around so you look at him. How can you miss it? Thing shines so bright it blinds you every time you look at it.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, hey, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why Elizabeth didn't show up today.
What are you talking about?
Come on, Brock.
Hey, you come on. You don't know nothing about anything.
People talk. It's a small town, Brock.
Yeah, and that's all they do is talk.
Look, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, Elizabeth, she's not here. I mean, some people say that she's sick, I guess. That's probably it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. And who is saying anything different?
And the table just kind of like looks at each other, and a few of them giggle, you know. I think if you're trying to get a little more information out of them at the table, you probably warrant a roll here.
All right. Would that be charm?
Sounds like charm to me. Yeah, I think so. So if you just click on the charm in your character sheet, it should roll it for you.
Oops. Accidentally closed that roll 20. Did it roll?
It did. It did. 2 successes. Very cool. So on 2 successes on a charm, you get some extra. So what is it that you're trying to charm out of Linda, and how are you doing it?
Well, I'm trying to figure out who's spreading these rumors about Miss Elizabeth and insinuating that it's my dad.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what you're trying to get. And are you kind of like, are you digging into your book here? Are you like threatening her with that, or are you like?
I'm not threatening. I'm being charming to the utmost. You know.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
I think Linda has a crush on me, so like I'm trying to be super nice about it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, come on, Linda.
Yeah.
We're tight. You can tell me. Yeah. So, she says, "Okay, look. It's not that we're spreading rumors about Elizabeth and your dad. It's just that, well, Jennifer said that she saw your dad and Elizabeth last night. He dropped her off. It looked like she saw them. So, okay, first of all, Cindy saw them at the movies. They were watching Back to the Future. Oh my god, so amazing. If you haven't seen it, Brock, seriously, I don't know what you're doing with your life right now. So Cindy said that she saw them at the movies, and then Jennifer said that she saw him drop Elizabeth off at her house. So it's just a thing. But then, like, she seemed fine, so I'm not sure why she's not here this morning. Yeah, so we're not telling everyone else, but, like, look, it's... Well, I don't know, Brock. What would you want me to do?
Well, I mean, I just think that you know, you get together and you gossip with all these girls and you just make insinuations about two separate things. I mean, Miss Elizabeth and my dad have known each other for a long time. They're both from this town.
Okay. Yeah.
So friends can't go to movies?
No, you're probably right. You're probably right. So you get also a bonus effect here, and you can choose one from the list. If you go onto Roll20 and click on the skill descriptions under Charm, you'll see them. But the bonus effects are: she keeps believing you, which doesn't seem applicable here. You have formed a lasting relationship. She will take risks to help you. She will try to persuade others to believe you. She's frightened, confused, or impressed, or she's infatuated. You can pick one of those.
I think she will take risks to help me.
Okay, yeah.
Like, perhaps I close it out by saying, you know what, about Back to the Future, I heard it's really good, and maybe we go see it after the Harvest Festival.
Okay, yeah, maybe we do. And she's like turning bright red, and turns back down to the folks at her desk, and is like, but she looks back at you and she's like, no, you're right, Brock. It's probably nothing. Yeah, so we'll cut that scene and we'll go to a scene Esther pouring through these dusty tomes from pre-loop donation era at the library. Are you looking for anything in particular, Esther, or what's the what here?
So we're looking for stuff to do the Harvest Festival assignment. So I'm looking for anything about this general topic, but I'm really going for the more like urban legend, low reliability tomes.
Awesome. Yes.
So I can go like, it's in a book, it's in the library, so it's allowed to use for schoolwork, even though it says that jackalopes have fertilized the fields.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to do this with an investigate roll, to kind of find out what you find. So if you want to click investigate for me, then we'll see what we got. Oh, no successes. Do you want to spend luck or push the roll at all?
I think I'm going to save it for now. It's a low-risk situation.
Okay, cool. So yeah, here's the situation then, and we'll resolve this little roll, set something up, and then we'll take a quick bio break for folks and jump back into things after that. So Esther's looking through the shelves here, right, and looking for kind of this pre-loop donation material in the, obviously, like, there's a lot of dust in this section, and there's a lot of just like cobwebs even and stuff like that. Like, there's fake cobwebs because everything's decorated for Halloween, but then there's real cobwebs here too. And so as Esther kind of like clears through this stuff, there's like an empty slot in the shelves, right, where she would expect to find some of these books about yeah, so expect to find some of these books about like the kind of darker harvest rituals and stuff about like crop circles and alien encounters and that sort of stuff. But the shelf is empty. but it looks to have the shelf's empty, but recently emptied, right? So like there's dust all around, but you can see the outline of where the books were. So there's that. Yeah.
Like, do they have security cameras at the library, or is it still not a thing?
Oh, sure. Yeah, definitely. That makes things more interesting.
And I'm like, I see this space, and then I look up at a security camera, and I sneak around up to the side of the shelf, and I'm like, they're watching me. Grandma was right. The man is always watching.
That's a good spot for a little break. Let's take 5 here. We'll jump back on at, well, I got 9:15 local time, whatever the 15 is of your hour here, with more tales from the loop. We'll find out what else you guys can find in the library or what thread you pulled out from here. We'll catch you soon.